make sure I'm not Mr. Fox today.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you, John. Brings me a blank.
Brings you
Wanted to make sure he had it all.
I'd like to call the meeting to order for August 10th at 4 p.m. And if everyone will stand with me if able, and if you will join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and we will be followed with a prayer from Councilman Ford. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, we ask that you bless this gathering. We ask that you watch over and guide all of those whose daily activity includes the betterment of the city of Weimar. We ask that you watch over our citizens and our neighbors. In your name we pray.
Amen. Okay, I want to welcome everyone. I guess, again, I kind of made a little joke last time. Our PR folks team might not have been as up last meeting. We didn't have as many, but we have some folks here today, so we're still on a roll. Public relations, by the way. Okay, we'll move to agenda item number 3, citizens' presentations and comments. In accordance with the Texas Attorney General's opinion, any public comment that is made on an item that is not on the posted final agenda will only be heard by the City Council. No formal action, discussion, deliberation, or comment will be made by the City Council. We just have 2 folks that have signed up as guests. Do either of you wish to speak on anything during citizens' presentation? Okay, we'll move to agenda item number 4, approval of the minutes of July 11th, special council meeting, July 13th, regular council meeting, and July 24th, special council meeting. Need to say anything about it?
Yes. In the minutes of the July 24th, the special executive session, I changed that from what I had it to city managers' interviews. That's what we did. We didn't do Mike and James. So that has been amended already.
And then the other ones were mine. Did you change that?
I did.
Okay, you don't need the same thing?
No.
Okay.
So
So
approved.
moved. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. If there are no changes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We'll move to agenda item number 5, report on financial statements. Mr. Mason?
Mayor, council, I'd like to bring your attention to pages 12 through 21 of the council packet. Why don't you look through those? I don't see anything, everything seems straightforward.
David, there's something you want to point out to us? Maybe we're just overlooking it, but is there something that you want to? Okay.
That pass through miscellaneous fund,
What page are you on?
14. Is that
For the home program,
for the home?
I'll read that for the home program. We get funding in and then we pay, mostly it's Brady Mayoff for building the homes.
We just hadn't received
Correct.
the proceeds from the funding for the program.
Right.
The I-10 sign, that's, help me with that. Do we pay monthly or is that yearly?
It's monthly.
Monthly.
That's monthly, and the contract, there's a signed contract through February.
Okay.
February 24th. Correct.
So if we do nothing on that contract in February after that,
That's right, I won't sign it, or whoever will make sure that we come before council, yeah.
Want to get back with it,
Pardon?
if we wanted to continue, that,
Yeah, but we don't.
yeah.
That would save $13,000. We can save $13,000. Good, okay. All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 6, approval of accounts payable and transfer of funds.
So approved.
Second?
Have a motion second. Any additional discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 7, update from Mark Price, the Chief Appraiser of the Colorado County Central Appraisal District. Mark, if you'll step up to the podium and introduce yourself, and welcome, by the way. Thank you for being here.
as you just said, my name is Mark Price. I'm currently serving as the chief appraiser here in Colorado County. How much detail do you want me to go into?
You're at will. You just, whatever you feel you want to educate us on.
Okay.
Just so rumors and how things are running and
Okay.
whatever you want to. Just, I don't want it to come from us. I want it more from you.
Yeah,
Okay.
my wife and I have some land here in Weimar. Her grandfather was Joseph Berger, lived at 250 and 142 intersection there. We bought that land from my brother-in-law. We've been clearing that, working on that, and that's where we plan to retire to. We currently live in College Station. I was the chief appraiser in College Station for 14 years. Before that, I worked at the Travis County Appraisal District in Austin for 25 years. So I retired almost 2 years ago. When I got up here, they found out that I was here retired, and they were looking for someone to help them out. They gave me a call, and I told them I would do what I can as long as I can. So that's kind of how I got into this into this job. We'll leave it at that. So we just finished on the 25th, which is the drop dead date. We certified the tax roll, and that probably would have been done earlier than the 25th, but when I got here, we had basically one person, one appraiser on the staff, and we had one person who had been here starting that year. They were not ready to put a tax roll out, so we did what we could as quickly as we could, and then held those notices as long as we could to give them some time to finish up their field work and stuff. So that's how we got to this tax roll. I'll give my staff all the credit in the world for getting everything done. I didn't think there was a way they were going to do it, and it's certainly not the finest tax roll I've ever been involved in, but but I think I can appreciate the effort more than any other one I've worked in, because they worked hard getting it done. So the roll now is certified. There's a few outstanding properties that are still under protest that we'll be working through this month, and I think the 27th, we have a date set for one more hearing date if we can't resolve what's outstanding. When the roll is certified, just in case you're curious, we have to have 95 or higher percentage of the taxable property resolved that was protested. When we certified the roll this year, we were like 0.8 or 0.7, so we were well under that 5%. What happens with that 5% is our software goes through and calculates what's called a lower value. And it looks at last year's value on those properties that are outstanding. It looks at this year's value that we put on it for those properties. And it looks at, there's a place if the owner gave us an opinion of his value of his property when he protested, it would look at that and would take the lower of those three values. So theoretically, that will keep you from dropping under the certified number. That would be the worst case scenario. But I think there's very little outstanding property here in Weimar. One of the projects that we have going, or we're getting ready to start, is going to be training for the staff. When I got here, I had one person who had ever gone through formal training with the software folks. Everybody else was just, here's your desk, here's your computer, figure it out. So that has not worked. So what we're going to do is we've set up 8 days of training. The software company is going to come out and do on-site training for us. And we're going to do it, and we've cut it in sections. So whatever we're about to do in the appraisal cycle, we'll go through training on that, and then they'll go do their work. And then the software folks will come back, and the next section will train on what they're about to do, and then they'll do it. I didn't want to do it all at one time because I don't think there's any way that would all soak in. The best way to do it is to learn it and go do it right away. So that's one of the main projects we have right now. Since right before the certification, we hired another appraiser who's a level 4 certified appraiser. So right now we have two fairly experienced appraisers and one beginning appraiser. So we're better than we were. We need one more. I think one more to complete that, and I think with 4 appraisers that should be enough, at least for now, to work this county. We also in our budget are asking for a couple clerical positions. Every time the legislature meets, there's more, I'm going to call them unfunded mandates that are handed down to us as well as you and everybody else. But they've created new websites that we have to man, and we have to keep those up to date. So I need staff for that. The clerical side has become quite overwhelming, and we need to make sure we can cover that so we can try to get this process flowing a little better. So the budget that we proposed was that's the vast majority of the budget. Is whenever we hire somebody, you've got to also consider the health cost, all the other benefits that they have to be paid. So that can add up. But probably the one main equipment item that's in that budget is to replace the server in our office. I think our server is somewhere between 8 and 10 years old, and it's way outdated. It should have been replaced a while back. So we're going to have that replaced this year, and that's our bid on that has been a little over $20,000. So that's going to be a fairly decent expenditure. But it's something we need, or they need. A little information on the maybe more than you care to know side. Right after I retired, my mother was diagnosed with cancer, lung cancer, and we got it treated, and she's doing fine. And my wife stays in College Station, and she helps her, and I put a travel trailer out on my property here, and I stay here during the week and then go home on the weekends. Recently, and I don't know whether it has to do with all the heat or what, but she's getting weaker. She's about to turn 95, and I need to spend more time there, assisting my wife and taking care of her. It's just that simple. I had hoped to do this for a few years so we could maybe take care of some issues that were out there, but I don't have that option. And I've spoken to my board about it, and they're looking to see, what direction, what options they want to go in. In the meantime, I told them I could come in and help with what I needed to do. So, although I'm just meeting you, probably be the last time I'll come here as the chief appraiser. But I'm certainly not going to leave the community. We like living here. So, what else can I tell you? Any questions that you would have?
So, well, overall, you feel comfortable with the appraisals and the inclusions of all the properties?
Yeah, one of the problems, the way, and you got the world I've lived in is much different. Travis County is a much bigger county. Brazos County is a much bigger county. We get a whole lot more sales data. It's just a different world. But there was a time years and years ago where appraisal districts pretty much said, well, we're going to look at a third of the county, a third of the county, and a third of the county. And that probably worked here okay up to about 8 or 10 years ago, but it's growing too much now. And you're behind so quickly that you can't even catch up because of the staffing problems. And I'm not here to speak to why we got where we got. I'm just telling you where they were when I walked in that door. That they weren't going out and looking in the county enough. There's improvements out there that aren't on the roll. We use a contract firm called Eagle Appraisal. They do our commercial stuff, so they would like do your downtown stuff for us. And the gentleman that did that for us this year, I requested that the board hire him for a week, and we gave him permits and we gave him aerial photography, and we said, come back in a week and show me what you found that wasn't on the roll. Now, most of this is fairly new stuff, but he came back with 140 properties in 5 days, maybe 6 days. And so we were able to add those to the roll, but there needs to be a whole lot more of that going forward. We've got to get a stable staff that can be properly trained and can do the job that they need to do. And it'll both help equity for, I'm going to treat you the same way as I treat your neighbor, and it'll get the taxable property that should be on the tax roll on the tax roll. So they're going to move forward with that. They have many projects they need to look into to work on, and we've already started with some of those now. But it will be a process. But I can tell you, we did the best we could with what we had at the time. That's about as far as I'll go with that. And I think your values were up 11 or 12% maybe, something like that. I don't think the values last year changed at all. I think the staff just rolled over the year before's values. You can't do that. When we were looking at depreciation schedules for components of houses, those had not been updated for, it looks like they have not been updated for about 6 to 8 years. Land values, in a lot of cases, haven't changed in 10 years. It's still the same lot value that it was 10 years ago. If we can agree on anything, we can agree that ain't right. You know what's going on out there. So there's areas that we've identified, and again, I'm not, my job isn't to, in trying to figure out how we got what we got, my job is to look at it and figure out what they need to do going forward to try to get everything working. So that's about all I have on that one.
Anyone else? Mark, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Sounds good.
Oh,
There you go.
Can't leave yet.
Okay, agenda item number 8, recommendation of staff on proposed tax rate and setting Thursday, September 14th for the public hearing on tax rate. Dolores?
Okay, y'all all have the tax revenue sheet that we gave out. Looking at the different rates, we're going with no new revenue rate. Our past rate was, first let's start there. Our last year's tax rate was .28198. That brought in revenue of $505.10. This year, the effective tax rate to bring in the same amount of revenue would be .249188. But it would, with the new taxes, then it would bring it up to 543,302. Then there is a voter approval tax rate of a 3.5%, which is the rollback rate, which we used to refer to as the rollback rate, of .255924, would bring revenue of $557,988 revenue. But Cindy called and said that she has one more calculation that we can use, depending on, where you can't exceed your de minimis rate. Our de minimis rate is, I don't have that here, sorry.
477,193.
Yeah. .477193. It's not on this rate sheet here. Which we cannot exceed that rate. If we do, we have to go have a referendum, a tax election. But we can go up to 8%. 8% of the voter approval rate. So that would be .265399, which would bring in revenue of $578,646, which would be an increase of $20,658 over the voter approval rate figure. So y'all,
So 72,000, basically, is that, so it's the 20,000 plus that 52,478 for that calculation?
I don't know.
On that voter approved rate,
The 52,
when you say it's 20,000 above that, is that,
20,000.
No, it would be an increase, yes, of that.
okay.
It would come up to the 578 instead of the 557.
Without having.
So it would be, yeah.
Without having to have a referendum.
Correct. There would be a notice that we have to place in the paper. It's a certain form, and she says that would not be subject to a petition election. We could use that 8% rate.
And it's less than last year's, right?
Yes, yes, it is. Now, the city of Columbus used it in '21, I believe it was, and the city of Eagle Lake is using it this year, this 8% figure. But, you know, you can't always use it, but we do fall in the category that we can use it this year. So we would recommend going with the .265399, which would make a difference of an average homestead of $100,000. It would make a difference of 0.96% increase in their taxes.
1%.
Yeah, it'd be less, just a little under 1%. But the decision is to y'all, you know, when we vote next month, but this is our recommendation. And there's no decision y'all can make on it today.
Just information today to think
Yes.
about. And if you're not following it and you want to visit with Dolores,
Yes,
like
it's-
just give her a call. Her and David can walk you through it again. Or
It's a
both
lot of
them can.
information,
Yep.
yes.
It's kind of this spin on backwards calculating type thing.
Yeah.
And we go through that every year, but we get through it every year, so. Any questions to Dolores?
And then the public hearing will be set on the tax rate for the next council meeting, September 14th.
7th or 14th?
14th.
14th,
7th is the first Thursday. Just-
yeah, didn't catch
That's
it.
right. Right, everybody good? Okay, we'll move to agenda item number 9, discussion and action on fiscal policy review. Dolores.
At this time, there is no changes that we would like to make, so y'all would just accept the,
I would so
You.
move.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. It's open for additional discussion. Okay, and I'm going to go around.
Aye, yes.
Becky?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. Unanimous, motion passed. Agenda item number 10, discussion and action on waiver of permit fees for the 3 home program houses to be constructed.
we're going to be getting ready to start construction on 3 more of the home program houses. And usually I ask city council to waive the construction fees. The construction fees for the 3 houses would be $1,621.60 for all 3.
That total, yeah.
And this is what's done in the past? for all-
Mhm.
Pretty much every time.
Because it's new property that's going on the tax roll for the next year's.
I would so move.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. It's open for additional discussion. And just since we're in discussion piece, just FYI, we are at 22, is that
There's
correct?
22, I see there's duplicated ones in there.
22 houses that we have done, or the adding of these 3 will make a total of 22 that we've done over the years. And we are, word aggressive is not the right one, but we are definitely searching for more to do each year because it's such an improvement for our community as well. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Agenda item number 11, discussion and setting of date for employee appreciation dinner. Need to look on my phone.
Been around Christmas.
Last year we did it the first December, the
Right.
first Friday? Yes.
So either the 1st or the 8th.
So December would have the 1st
Or the 8th.
or the 8th. always thought the first was good, because then you start getting into other company
I think the first sounds good.
parties, events, and stuff on street selling and Christmas. I don't know what y'all ladies go to, what is that thing called? Shopping.
Wine walks.
Well,
Wine
we do
walks
that
and-
Sip and shop, but that's,
Sip
isn't
and
that in November now?
No,
They moved
it's December.
They
They
moved
moved
it
it back to
back to
December. I think it's December the 2nd.
Okay. Well, it would be after that, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first sounds good.
Good, yeah.
Okay.
Someone to make a,
I make a motion that we set the date of the Employee Appreciation Dinner for December 1st, 2023. You need
Yeah.
time?
No.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion, all opposed? Motion carries. Y'all got loud on that one. Discussion on, agenda item number 12, discussion on the 2023-24 budget.
Well, we don't really have any changes from what we presented the last time, so, except for later on, we're gonna talk about the cars, the next item.
Okay,
What did we plug in, or what, were we showing a surplus at all? We were, even after we.
David,
looked-
did you, I didn't bring that.
400,000, sounds familiar.
Yeah. There was a surplus.
Did we plug in a ballpark number for the next agenda item yet? For the paid vehicles?
That'll come off the surplus.
Okay.
So we have money to play with for that.
Yeah.
everybody good on that one?
Yep.
Thank you. Agenda item 13, discussion on purchase of new police patrol vehicles.
Chief, do you wanna start?
Mayor, council. Dolores had me do a little research into the current situation with the patrol unit that was supposed to be ordered. And we found out that through HDAC and also Caldwell Country that there hadn't been one purchased yet. That's
Hadn't been spoken for.
spoken for even. So, working on that right now.
But that was in the budget for last year?
For last year.
Okay.
So we're behind.
Mike
with that
apparently
as
did
well.
not put a car in last year for the budget.
The 2022,
We could not
23.
find anything.
We can't find it. There's 46,000 allocated for repaying old debts to the equipment fund, but that's all we saw.
So I don't know. Because they didn't know a date that he didn't put one in there.
And the Chevrolet Tahoe, to get one of those, it'd probably be around, the outfit and all, 100,000. Outfitting it and all. But that's, so far, that's all I've got with that. Sergeant Jones has the lease program we discussed. You want to go ahead and talk about that right now?
There's a lot of paper, so I just made 3 copies, kind of to share.
We can share.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
I could see how important mine is.
Dolores, page 26, is that a rundown for this?
Yes. Well, I don't know what he's presenting. He hasn't talked to me about that. so I
It's
don't
just,
know.
it's the lease program, it's just more information, since it's a discussion item, I didn't put everything in the packet, just the numbers. This just kind of gives you a brief rundown on who the company is that is doing that would do the financing. They just sent a brochure to me. Page 3 of it is a partial list of the towns and cities that they do around Texas. And then 4 is Texas counties. I gave you all emails and everything else like that, trying to get quotes. When I started it all out, I started out as like a do not exceed number, just to kind of get a baseline on kind of what we're looking at financially in order to progress with this program. But if you flip the page over, our final totals, that's the numbers that's in y'all's packet.
Okay.
Is the final totals. Everything behind that is a breakdown, just the vehicle only, and then also the vehicle plus upfit. When it comes to the Chevy Malibu that we had talked about before, it's pretty much an admin vehicle. It's not a patrol vehicle at all. The Dodge Chargers, if you keep on flipping, Dodge Chargers base price is $30,000. Adding the patrol stuff to it to make it a patrol vehicle, it brings it up to $39,000. The upfit of a Charger is $54,000 total with the vehicle plus the upfit of it. Y'all can go through it. I'm not gonna sit. I don't want to sit here and unless y'all have questions. I don't want to sit here and kind of go over the same thing over and over again. Each page is different with a different vehicle. It's vehicle only and it's vehicle plus upfit on every single one of them. If y'all have questions about what is the lease program, it's not really a lease program. You own the vehicles. We would own the vehicles. You pretty much, what it is the moment that you take possession of the vehicle after upfit, they give you title. You own the vehicles. I only did the 3 and the 5 year interest finance option on it. They do a 3, 5, and 7 year. I only did the 3 and 5 year. Ideally, with a program like this, you want to do 3 or 5 years because you stay within manufacturer warranty of it. And about year 4, you want to go through it again. So at 5 years at the manufacturer warranty, when that expires, you can either sell the vehicle and apply it towards the next vehicle purchases, or keep the vehicle, and then if y'all want to, keep maintenance of the vehicle. But you'll never run out of vehicle warranty if you keep rotating the vehicles through it. So you bring your maintenance cost way down on it.
So the Ford Explorer, that's a all-wheel drive, the Tahoe's two-wheel drive. And I see on the Tahoe you have a slick top and a light bar.
Yes.
What is preferred there? I'm just trying to...
I gave y'all options. There's nothing that's actually preference. If you want to, with the light bar, you're going to have more wind drag and everything else like that, which is going to result in more fuel costs. With it being a heavier vehicle, more fuel costs. Ideally, a slick top is a better way to go because you do reduce the wind drag. You do have your aerodynamics.
It's cheaper too, I like that, cheaper.
It's just a little bit cheaper, yes.
So the lights are in the,
They're interior. Instead of just the bar up top, you have interior lights right above the visor. You'll have it on your mirrors, in your headlights and tail lights, and you'll also have a directional in your rear window.
So the numbers in that 3 and 5 year column, what do those represent?
Those are representing the yearly payment.
The
So,
yearly payment?
yes. So if y'all elected to want to get a Tahoe, and y'all elected, say, let's go with the slick top, our yearly payment for the 3 year would be $52,547.56 for 2 vehicles. If we did the 5 year, it'd be $33,321.53 for 2 vehicles. So, and that yearly payment does include this interest rate, that 5.92%.
5.92?
Yes, sir.
So what is it, like, under 5 year, the .23865, what does that represent?
That was copy and pasted, I'm pretty sure. I would have to go back and look at it.
But it's like 6%
Yes, sir.
financing.
Remind me again from last meeting, what would y'all say is a need right now in the department as far as vehicles?
An absolute need to get rid of all of our extremely old vehicles and the ones that are going out. An absolute need would be 4 vehicles. What we could get away with trying to incorporate this program we could probably get away with at least doing 2 more on on this type of program. But if we, our absolute need would be 4 vehicles.
What's the turnaround time on getting vehicles in?
That is a caveat. Right now, you're looking at about a year to a year and a half to get the vehicle purchased, the VIN number stamped, and the upfit on it.
So should we just go ahead and have one vehicle, since it was already budgeted for, or we thought, and it didn't get ordered, should we go ahead and just get one ordered at least?
I think what we need to do, because this is not going through a cooperative purchasing program, we would have to advertise for bids.
Yes, okay, fair enough.
So we could advertise for bids and see if we can find, somebody can have one according to their specs that they provide us with.
What is our equipment fund charging for?
3%, David?
Mike moved it down to 3.
Yeah, it was 5%, but,
Well, then we're being too
I mean,
cheap.
we're,
We're being too cheap, that's unrealistic.
I mean, why would we pay out an interest rate if we're,
If we've got $250,000, how much we got in there?
400.
We got $400,000 in the equipment fund that we could be paying ourselves
we just
interest
got to
on.
find the vehicles that are available, and there's not right, at this point, we can't go out and buy one. And it's really bad.
When it comes to going through the buy board and everything like that, you can't go out and buy it. Every manufacturer opens up a window. Ford opens up a 4-day window, and if you're not within the first 4 days, sometimes they close it after 2 days. It's right after, pretty much right after fiscal years start. October, November is when they start opening up their window. Chevy, Dodge, they're a little bit different. They sometimes open it up for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, stuff like that. But once they hit their max orders, they'll shut it down. So if they hit their max orders within a day and a half, 2 days for any build, then they shut it down. So you really have to be on it whenever you're trying to order these type of vehicles for municipalities, because they shut down very, very quickly.
What have we done typically, did we do anything else 2 years ago? Do we know? I mean, are we typically plugging in 80 or 100,000 a year for?
We were putting in the 50 to 80,000, depending what the cost was anticipated.
What about other equipment, Josh? Are y'all good on all that, or y'all supplies?
No, honestly,
The chief can inform me on that.
We still need spikes, evidence equipment, shields for the patrol units and all that. And Dolores and I have discussed a little bit about that. I mean, we're looking at probably around $20,000 for the
And we
equipment we
have
still
that,
need.
we have that in this year's budget for them to get those supplies.
So is it not true, because I was on the news, they were talking about,
Hold on, before we can.
they were talking about the state of Texas having a guardian or an officer at a school, that there will be funding for that. What's the story on the school officer situation? Is it the city helps and works together with the school? Because I think our schools.
Yeah, right now, I've been working with the schools with Weimar ISD and also St. Michael's, and we're working together on things.
Good. I like to hear that. That's good. That's good. There's communication between the schools.
So I guess, there's certain items that they equip those, like Tahoes, with extra heavy-duty cooling and rubber mats, and if you just bought one off the showroom floor, it'd be way too much.
We could,
Be out
That
there.
we tried to upfit.
when you buy something off the showroom floor, you're buying it for civilian use. When you buy it as a patrol vehicle, that's why you see the cost difference in all of them. You see the base price plus, and then you have a little bit more, and then it's about a cost difference of $9,000. They add in extra batteries and an extra, a bigger radiator, bigger cooling system, everything of that nature. So your brakes are larger, everything, to make it always, work for always running. So that's, when you buy a police vehicle, and they call it a pursuit vehicle, but it's really not, it's just the extra cooling to it. That's what brings up the cost. So when you do try to buy it off the showroom floor, you're gonna kill your vehicle a lot faster, make it a police vehicle than
I don't know why, these things are in demand all the time, I don't know why they can't get them produced. It just
No.
makes no sense to me.
It got quiet when you, in the room, when you said no vehicle is coming to us.
It hadn't been spoken for anything.
Louder. 'cause it's
It hasn't
right.
been spoken for yet, so.
Okay.
Not
And-
that he's been able to make contact with HGAC, so we're assuming it's not.
Right. HGAC says no, and so has Caldwell Country that we've dealt with before in the past, so.
But council's been told on more than one occasion that a vehicle was
Spoken.
on the way, just hadn't come yet. Okay. I'm just making that clear, because it got quiet in here when you said that. So we have in the budget for a vehicle that's not
Plan
in
spoken.
existence.
Right, that's correct.
David does not think it was put in the budget last year.
You don't think it was?
We could not find
No?
it.
So no budget, no vehicle, but conversations about one. Okay. Just clearing it up, because
Thank
we
you.
got, we want to move
Which-
forward with stuff.
Well, if
Which
it's
we
gonna be
could
that
buy it.
long, we can always amend the budget, I mean,
Right.
whatever.
And we can buy it from the equipment fund,
Right,
Yeah.
you know, so if one came in.
right.
And that's probably what he planned to do, but it was not in the budget.
So you're saying you've reached out to HGAC, but they haven't responded back to you, or they have?
They have, and like I said, there hadn't been one
Okay.
spoken for or anything. There's nothing, no record.
And we can go back in the minutes and find out what, if and where, what was supposedly one ordered from?
Well, I asked Mike, I called him and I talked to him, and he said, yes, they'll contact us when it's available. Just a couple of weeks ago, so whether there's a particular person or what, I don't know, we don't know.
Send them a couple of rings of sausage or something.
But Stephen could not get in contact with anybody that knew anything about it.
And it will be hard even if we are able to get that, like we were talking about here, that little gap as far as, we're kind of behind on things with that, getting that going right now.
And
Through HGAC,
and other equipment.
yes.
Well, the equipment,
We can
order, right?
We can order
That's
that.
the
We can go
budget.
through that.
That's in.
Which I
The
had.
vehicles
yeah,
are the-
I had asked Stephen to get that going.
But you need to bring
So we need
that
to
back
get-
to us, because you're saying it's above 10,000, so you're gonna need approval from council.
Well, it's gonna be a bunch of little items, though. It's not,
Not one deal over
not
10.
one company
Right.
probably that he's
Numerous
gonna be
different-
buying
And
it
that
from.
one item is not
Right.
over 10,000.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So what would be sooner to get, a Explorer, a Tahoe, a Durango, a Charger, a Malibu?
They're both-
We nixed the Malibu, but what would be, what's quicker to get and what would y'all prefer?
I don't think it's going to be any
That'd be quick.
quick to it, but
Well, I mean,
realistically, but I mean, the Chevrolet Tahoe is fine, Ford Explorer is fine. Doesn't matter.
I hate to keep sticking money in these old units.
What about if we go ahead and prepare a bid to try to get some of these companies, to bid on what they prefer and see if somebody can locate one? I mean, they may not.
Right.
We may
We
not
won't
have
get
it
time.
good
unless we
to
ask
try.
for it.
But
Yeah, At least a
That's right.
shot. Yeah, no, I don't.
Do we have to specify a vehicle for the bidding, or can we?
we have to usually, but we can give a choice of one or the other. Both of them, see if, but it would have to be with, their specifications
So,
attached.
but it's not gonna be the same company since one's a Chevrolet, one's a Ford. It'd be two different companies going through, right? To
Yes.
get a bid. So theoretically, we could put in for a Ford and put in for a Chevrolet. And per our last city council meeting, if we don't want it, it's no big deal. Somebody else will pick it up. So why don't we order a Ford and order a Chevrolet, and whatever comes in first, we take?
You're talking about through HGAC or do
Just
bids.
a vendor, two
Yes.
different bids. You know,
Well, I would make it a public, make public notice to where asking for any bids for any police packages.
got you.
Whatever they, Dodge Chargers, they might submit a bid for.
Sure.
Then, if that's what they want to include on that. We have been using the Tahoe, but that doesn't mean y'all want to stay with the Tahoe.
Right.
But if y'all do, we can just leave it with that vehicle, but we could put the Ford Explorers. They're kind of changed the Ford Explorers as well recently.
I've spoken to two
I'd
officers
like-
that, and one in Houston and one in Columbus, and both of them say Explorers are okay. They're just not as roomy, but they are okay, because you ride around them.
Right.
So,
So based on this, though, the Explorer's more expensive than the Tahoe?
They are.
That's what I
A little
looked at
bit.
too, I was surprised. $600. No? 400.
I'm gonna go with this question. What are you recommending we do, since you're,
I said we go with the Chevrolet Tahoes. And
no, what do you, our next
That's
step?
like Dolores said, put it out for bids.
Okay.
Because we can always refuse them
Right.
if they don't do what we want. But at least we're trying something, and
put it,
hopefully,
like I said, be general, don't be specific. It's what
Just
your
has to-
intention is,
yes, it'll have to have some of the police package equipment on it, but,
but be pretty general.
yeah. But we need to get in line with HGAC so that we know that we have them coming in the future.
Well, we need to double
Right.
check to make sure
Yeah.
we are in line.
That's right.
Right, well,
Do we have
Yeah.
to specify how many vehicles we want, or we leave that open as well?
you would have to specify.
On the two bids.
Are we
So might as well
thinking
do
two vehicles?
Do two right away, be done with it.
Well, that would improve the rotation process.
correct.
Yeah.
Because the rotation is in a bind right now.
Right.
We used to do one a year, but,
Yeah,
so
we
if we
kinda-
do two now, and next year we relook at
When we
it.
could get them.
Right, and we could go back to our,
Right.
So ideally, to get out of the bind, it would be better if we,
I think
look
two,
for two.
One was already
Two would be
planned for,
great.
so we might as well.
because if you get four at one pop, then that puts you back in rotation of four down the road again.
Because then you'd
That's
have,
right.
yeah.
Right.
So,
I don't think we want to do that.
I'd do the
Two.
two and,
See what happens.
yeah.
Do two and be set up for next year to do another one, I guess.
okay, because we don't have action on here,
Correct.
we'll be having a council meeting, I think, to do interviews.
Yes.
I'll put that on the council agenda, that we go out for sealed bids, and then we can start advertising. Get
Okay.
that
You
done.
could be putting your stuff together
Oh,
to be
definitely,
prepared
yeah.
for that, so.
Do we need to
Okay,
s-
Steve?
All right, thank you.
You're
Do we
good
need to
with that?
specify about the type of vehicles, or no?
Well, they can specify if they, if they want to get bids on a Ford as well as a,
Tahoe.
yes, Stephen suggested Tahoe. He's kind of partial to Tahoe, so,
That's what we got right now.
yeah.
Whatever they're comfortable with,
Right,
I mean,
They
that's
put
what we
the
got as
Tahoes.
Tahoes, I'll just say, they're riding in them,
that's right.
right,
Correct.
exactly.
they need to be comfortable with
So,
them.
okay,
Even if it is a few extra dollars.
I will put that on the next one.
Okay, we'll go to, everybody good on that? So when we come back to the next meeting, we'll get more specific on it. Okay, we'll move to agenda item number 15. I'm gonna jump across the executive session, that way folks here don't have to hang out. City manager report?
I made some notes and forgot.
Pardon?
Made some notes and I forgot it.
Oh.
Okay, we're continuing work on the water line project. James said that they have the 400 blocks. Well, the street, the contractor is doing very well. They're on their very last, they're hoping to get out next week. But our city crew is working on the 400 block of Grange Street and 400 block of Post Office Street, trying to complete that this week. In addition to, they're working, hoping to finish it today, but they're not sure. But if they do, then they're moving to the 300 block of East Post Office, which is a bigger project than the other two. So they're working, so hopefully we can get that.
Working fast.
They're trying, but they're running into a few problems, finding things that they don't expect. But they're working. So we,
Want to go get your notes and we can go to the police department? Okay.
the CDBG grant, the street improvement grant, is still on hold. Centerpoint was supposed to start work by this Friday or next Friday, for sure, and it's supposed to take them 2 to 3 weeks. But we're still waiting on them to give us that start point. So we're waiting on that. There may be some increases in the prices because of the delay that we've ran into. So we'll see. The engineer is looking into that, whether they can do that.
They would charge us more because they're late?
Yeah, but the contractor is not the person that's holding up. It's Centerpoint that's holding it up.
Okay.
And that's, yeah, it's kind of a bad deal. He said he's gonna stay with the labor cost, but the material costs are probably gonna have to go up to whatever now. But you would have thought he would have bought his materials ready.
We have Bo to take care of that for us.
Yeah. He's taking care of it.
Bo's sleeping right now. We'll inform him of what he needs to do.
The gazebo or the library area, there's been some improvements at the library and the gazebo, not at the library, but at the gazebo. The garden club has asked for us to put lights on the trees. They selected a certain type of light. So Rex is working on doing that. He started that project. The gazebo has been completed the work that was necessary by Gary Chernock. Now it's been painted this past week. So now we're ready for us to install the lights on the gazebo and flags and stuff like that. They're also asking for a little sidewalk from the library to the gazebo. We have to work on that yet, but we're progressing. We're getting it. We ordered some benches. Mike had ordered 2 benches. They wanted 3 benches. So we've now got the 3rd one in. So we'll put benches in the gazebo now that it's been painted. So it should look nice for Christmas.
Good.
So, I think today we had James is not here. His report is attached.
So what's the sidewalk deal with part of which,
What do you mean?
Talking about this?
yeah, the sidewalk.
TxDOT?
No,
That's TxDOT.
this is the sidewalk from the,
So wouldn't that, like, fully funded, wasn't gonna cost us anything and gonna get started here pretty quick?
Yes, James said that they're starting to look. There is some work that the city has to do on the different locations that they've asked us to look at. So James has to do that when he finishes his water line, before they're coming in.
so probably like this corner because the sidewalk is what, this high above the street?
I know he was talking about North Groman and Northeast Street, that some areas that he has to search. So, but, yeah, that should be coming pretty soon too.
When is James's last day?
August 31st. So, other than that, James just completed, well, they went over to McCoy's just right before the meeting. That's why he got behind. They were having some sewer backup. Their toilets wouldn't flush, so they went ahead and checked it, and they have a little lift station on their property, apparently, that a fuse blew on it. So they were able to get that going without any big problems. But they were very concerned about that. But I guess that's it. That's all I have.
Police department?
Hello again.
Yeah.
All right, we have a new report.
Let's see.
It kind of breaks down more of the offenses that we deal with for July. And I guess the most interesting thing, we had like 15 arrests this past month. So we've been busy. And y'all have any questions?
UUMV, I know it's motor vehicle, but what's the UU stand for?
Unauthorized use of a motor vehicle.
Okay, thank you.
And code 2 information is narcotics information, so if you did that. Like I said, it's just more detail as far as.
Very nice.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, I like that.
And I want to let y'all know we, as of July 19th, 2023, we got the new Facebook, Weimar Police Department Facebook page going, if y'all haven't checked it out. I'd gotten with Sergeant Jones and said, hey, we need to get this going out here, and he got it going for us, so,
Looks good.
It'd be helpful to spread the word if we're looking for something.
yeah.
That's-
We had it before, and probably wasn't used enough, but now we want to use it in a lot of things. Any questions?
No, thank
good.
you.
Yeah, thanks for all your work.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank y'all.
Looks good, thank you.
Jonathan Lee versus? Okay. Do you want to give his report, Dan? Okay. Do anything that
No,
can help with Jonathan's?
he has his report there. It's, you know,
It's about the same.
yeah,
Building permits, yep.
quite a few building permits still going on. Got lots of houses being worked on. One of the Bill Barden houses was sold.
Yeah,
Pink one?
And,
Putting the
yes,
roof on it.
and they're completely renovating it. It's gonna be nice when they get through. That one will be cleaned up. So then we're putting pressure on them to start on the back ones, which they are. They're doing some repairs on that, so that, hopefully that'll look pretty good after we get it.
Probably paint bricks.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope they do.
If you have something, you can always call Jonathan and ask him.
Yes.
He'll give you an answer. After you review this, if you haven't already, just, if there's a question, just reach out to him.
Yeah.
Okay, library, Misty?
Please fall asleep. Good stuff, okay. Council, Mayor, you'll see that I have my different reviews, my visits, doing good for the summer, slowing down now. And for the income, doing good, people paying fines, coming using the library, printing, copying. And then I have my report for the summer reading program. As you can see, how many kids and adults, and by ages, and how many actually read. And we did get past our 75,000 pages read. And I put all the numbers and stuff for our discovery and adventure programs that is mostly done or hosted by the Friends of the Library. We had 4 popular ones there. And then some of our prizes, and then some of the last sheet we have on page 38 is our other summer activities that we had involving at the library this summer. And then our calendar for August. Any questions,
Looks good.
concerns? All right,
Thank you for all you do.
thank y'all.
Out of training dogs.
So we'll go to agenda item 16, announcements, just TML annual conference, which is October 4th through the 6th at the Kay Bailey Hutchison Convention Center in Dallas. Anybody else have any other announcement that they want to bring up below? Okay. And I'll go back up to agenda item number 14, executive session under section 551.074, personnel, selection of city manager, police chief. Nothing will happen after this, so that's why I saved it to the end. Thank you, folks, for coming.